So those are going to support what is probably our best chance for success in this session, and that's getting Senate Bill 31. Remember that. Senate Bill 31 passed. It's through the Senate. It's on its way to the House. We've got people waiting for it in the House, and that will address this for us and offer some relief to these folks that have been getting beat up with this handlebar height thing. Kenny?
We need a co-sponsor in a bad way on this one?
No, but anybody that wants to sign on, it's always good that they're interested enough to talk to who's going to be the sponsor. Terry Austin has picked it up in the House. She is the chair of the House Transportation Committee. So that's a good person to have carry a bill like this for us in the House. But Austin is the House sponsor, and if anybody tells you, hey, I'd like to sign on to this, tell them to contact Austin. Number 4, you know that Indiana motorcycle fatalities declined in 2009. That's a good thing. Fewer people died in motorcycle crashes in Indiana in 2009 than in 2008. You know, for the last about 10 years, we've been hearing all this stuff about the increases nationally and statewide in motorcycle fatalities. So this is a good thing. Let them know we're making progress. And if they ask you, well, why do you think that is? What are you going to tell them? Rider education is a key component of this. We continue to train people to ride properly. Well, shouldn't we have a helmet law or something? Wouldn't that help? Some of these people don't know any better. And when they see you as a motorcyclist, some of them think that you want helmets. And yeah, I wear a hat virtually every time I ride, but we do not support mandatory adult helmet laws. We want people to be able to make that choice. Don't open that door unless they do. But if they throw that out there, say, you know, a helmet is just a reactive device that may lessen the severity of an injury in the case of an accident, but we'd rather avoid the crash altogether. That helmet doesn't make the rider any safer, any smarter, any less likely to be involved in a crash. Education does. So education is the key component we're going to keep stressing, and we'll continue that through some of these other talking points. You've been following for a couple of years now something else we're trying to get done legislatively. Motorized bicycles in the state of Indiana have become more and more of a problem. You know, 20 years ago, we could sort of turn a blind eye to them and pretend like they didn't exist. There were maybe 1 or 2 people killed on them in any given year, sometimes none. There were a few of them around. They'd get in the way once in a while, but they didn't make that much difference. There's a lot more of them now. And with gas prices a couple years ago, we saw more of them on the road. Gas may hit $4 a gallon this year. We might see them back out again. And a couple years ago, the feds, and then a number of years ago, the feds, and a couple years ago, the state, started including those in our data. So last year, in the year that just ended, 2009, there were 19 people killed in Indiana on motorized bicycles, mopeds. Those are reflected in our numbers. So if those 19 weren't included in our fatalities, we'd be much lower, wouldn't we? So there's no accountability for these things. We don't know if they're overrepresented or not in crashes because we don't really know how many of them are in the state of Indiana. We don't know. So what we want to try to do is get a little accountability. We aren't in favor of regulatory acts typically. We don't want a bunch of laws. We'd rather have fewer laws. But this is a big gray area that everybody seems confused by, and we're sort of getting tattooed with it. And we need to get it cleaned up. It's probably not going to happen this session, but again, Terry Austin, the chair of the House Transportation Committee, is looking at doing something in what they call summer study. So they'll, after the session, during the summer when they're not really in session officially, they'll have some legislators and some outside groups come in and talk about it, get a lot of the bugs ironed out, so when we come back next year to the session, they'll have a good, clean idea of what they need to do and have it in place so it's ready to plug in. So that's a good thing for us, and we want to let them know that this is an important issue and that 19 people were killed on these vehicles in the state of Indiana last year. Kids, some of them not. You know, today if you saw one, you see a 40-year-old guy riding one of those and there's snow on the ground. He ain't riding it because he thinks he looks cool. We know why he's riding. We aren't gonna attack that. All we want to do is address the vehicle. Because if we tried to license the operator, we're not going to get that done. It wouldn't pass the General Assembly, and there are too many people to count on those. But we need to get some accountability for the vehicle. So what we want to do is get it registered. But hopefully we can get all that addressed in the summer study session. What we need to know right now, or let them know right now, is that there's an issue. Get them thinking about it. So when they're hearing about this, or when Representative Austin brings it up, they go, yeah, those motorcycle guys told me about this. So we want to let them have a little background. So number 5 goes into that. We talked about motorcycle fatalities being down in number 4. Then in number 5, you know the motorized bicycle, moped, fatalities have increased in Indiana each of the last 3 years. So it's going up and up and up. You know that 19 people died in Indiana motorized bicycle crashes in 2009. These are all facts, obviously, by the way, so it's not a true or false. It's a yes or no from them, but these are all facts. Number 7, you know that numerous municipalities have created or are discussing the creation of local ordinances addressing these motor vehicles, wherein a rider could travel from one jurisdiction to the next and not be aware that the rules governing this mode of transportation have changed. If you live in X city or X town, and they have a local ordinance that you have to shovel your sidewalk by 7 in the morning, or you got to paint your shutters green, or whatever they have, you live there, you know that. That's not going to change. You choose to live there. It's accepted. When you have things that are mobile vehicles, it's awkward to have one set of rules over here, and another set of rules over here, and another set of rules over here. I'm not going to pick up my house with its green shutters and move it to someplace that requires brown shutters. It's not going to happen. I know that. I could be riding this motorized bicycle from X town or city into the next and not realize that the rules have changed because I don't live here. So having various ordinances that are all different is a recipe for disaster.